Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, I was having an issue there trying to get the stream to work properly. I don't know what the heck was going on. Anyway, welcome. Hopefully you've had a fantastic day of trading so far. It's been it's been a wild one. Giant flush to the downside on the markets over the last little bit here. And there's been plenty of movement, that's for sure. So we'll see how today wants to keep on going, but looks like it's shaping up to be pretty interesting. Where it stands so far on the NASDAQ side of things, aside from the most recent just smash lower, we had a lot of back and forth kind of... Here, hang on. Let me get rid of all that. We had a lot of back and forth with, realistically, at the end of things, just ended up being a wedge breakout that failed. The wedge breakout failure on the lows ramped back up to a new high, created a higher low. This was basically where all of the sellers who got stuck short earlier got out, and then hammered all the way back to the upside with some pretty good movement. I mean, it looks like it was a triple measured leg. 1, 2, and well, they fell short on the third. And now it's rolling over a little bit. So some profit taking into the end of the day. Kind of makes sense. See if they want to follow through, get something going, or what they want to do here. From the S&P perspective, really, there's not been much of a change on the day now with this most recent drop to the downside. It was looking really strong. Buyers had a great ramp to the upside, big blow off on the highs, and then it started extending down a bit too far. Buyers still pick into it, but not looking for as much anymore, and it starts going a bit sideways, choppy. We got that nice little wedge. Finally broke and did ramp to a new high. I mean, it was a beautiful break to a new high, but yikes. After that, it just got absolutely smashed. Crazy drop to the downside there. See what these guys want to do here. If they want to keep it going, if they want to maintain, I mean, the market's still up 1.25%. So, we'll see. All right, there we go. Buyers trying to come in on this pullback. I mean, looking at that last 5-minute bar on the S&P, they did pick away at it. That was that was pretty nice. It's the only thing I hate about gaps. You got to mess with the chart so much just to get it to look right. Kind of curious what happened down here on volume. Oh man. Geez, the POC is just dead center. Ay. How about if we go back to the drop? Where does that put it? Still the same spot. Okay, so basically that gives us one big clue. This whole move down, whatever it was, whether it was shorts getting out at break even or longs coming in, whatever, 36.60 is where the job got done. Now it's just a matter of seeing what they're going to do with that. Does it bounce from here, or do we end up cracking lower? If it ends up cracking lower, then all those break-even traders are going to start chasing, and that's usually where you start getting that second leg down. All right, bulls trying to get that double bottom bounce back to the upside. Now it's a matter of seeing whether or not they can finish the job. What a gnarly candle that is. What happened? Caught the wrong end of that trap at that 36.60 area a few minutes ago. Yikes. Yeah, that's... I mean, they're still fighting over it. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see them struggle around this area for a bit. If it was going to be a V-bottom, it would have been gone by now. Right? So if it were a V-bottom, it would have been up here at 74 at this point. So the fact that it's still hovering here, I think, tells a pretty big story as it is. Now it's just a matter of seeing... Is this just a pause before another leg down, or are the buyers actually going to take it back? We know that POC is dead smack in the middle. We'll keep an eye on it, but I mean, that's not going to be easy to break. It looks like they're trying to fill that in. Wow. Got some heavy volume coming in at the 58.50s too. They're trying to create a secondary POC. Look at the NASDAQ too. Huge rejection off the lows. No follow through though. All right. Buyers trying to get a little bit of continuation up. I mean, realistically, what's attempting, at least, is a higher low transition, right? Strong little bull bar inside here. Try to kick it higher off that. Bulls trying to come back in. They're getting that bounce. They're just building a huge amount of volume down here around the 60s. It's just not making any progress. Look at that rally back up, too. So with the bulls continuing to the upside here with some pretty good aggression, especially looking at the 5-minute chart, I mean, if they don't close it up here, they're going to be giving up a lot of ground. It'd be nice to see them close a strong bull bar up at the top. There's a nice ramp to the upside. It'd be nice to see a quick little dip down through like the 40s. There's that open gap down at 37.50, so that's kind of the obvious area. See if they can backfill some of that. Jeez. All right. Quick bounce down to 37.75. Buyers attempting to... I mean, initially they had that quick little bounce, but they're not getting it. It's flushed through pretty aggressively. Now if it jumps back up through the 37.75s, I want to see it kind of stick the landing and push. Otherwise, it's not going to be looking that great. I'm going to start getting out. Yeah, I don't like the way that looked at all. They slammed through that so hard. It's just not worth floating the risk anymore. Because if they're going to break down, I mean, look at the 5-minute chart. This is a pennant. if it's going to break down, it's bombs away. I'm not about to be holding on to that. No thanks. See if they want to rotate through the lows. It's about a 25 tick loss. Okay, on average. Oh, of course, right? Perfect timing. Bulls pop right back up. Kind of watching this 5-minute chart to see what they want to do here. This rising support and the S&P too. Look at all these wicks on the bottom. It's a fist fight down here. Have they shifted the POC yet? No, still on 60. On the S&P, I like it around the 62 area if it pulls up there for a potential fade back down, primarily just because the earlier buyers who got in there, they're not going to want to see it do all of this and then come back to break even and have some difficulties. So that 36.62 area looks relatively decent. Still have another 3 minutes to go on the NASDAQ until we see if they can break the bottom of the wedge. The 500 tick is still hovering. It's not getting the job done one way or the other. I mean, it's really looking like the sellers are trying to pressure for that second leg. If the bulls fail here, it's kind of game over. From the swing perspective, sellers have the opportunity of shorts. The problem is, from the swing perspective, the stop is way up at 12,512. So, I mean, yeah, there's a short here from a swing perspective if you don't mind a 400 tick stop. I mean, I've got my cutoffs, you know. Well, something tells me the S&P is not going to back up. Kind of a bummer. They might still get it. I like that area for a break even. That's where the earlier longs got in at 62. And assuming if they do get greedy, they might even try to go for a point if it pops higher. So 63 also kind of makes sense. Now, the problem is, if it starts going up there now, that's a near miss on the lows, and it would be a bull engulfing. So, I mean, if it goes up on this candle, I'm not interested anymore. That's too much pressure. Not with only 45 seconds left. The time left on the candle versus what's available, I just don't think is worth the risk anymore. Doesn't look like the NASDAQ's going to get that break either. Really, really stuck here. They're trying. Oh, what is happening? Oh, okay. That's a gnarly rejection off the bottom. Look at that on the NASDAQ. They pinged it right off the low. Oy. Lots and lots of volume coming in on that move down as well. So, I mean, realistically, the S&P, it's... If the buyers are going to try to take it, they're going to do it from 36.60. That would be the... Well, I mean, I guess technically the second long was 62-ish above that big bull bar. But, I mean, either way, buyers will still give it a shot inside here. So it wouldn't surprise me to see longs wanting to come in around 36.60 to see if they can trigger kind of a higher low V bottom. So it would be 60 up to 61. But if they begin to fail, like if it triggers long and starts pulling back, there might be some opportunities to build a small scalp position inside there for a quick exit. Because if it doesn't turn up from here, then it's game over for the bulls. And that's where we start seeing it slide lower like it is here. Still 4 minutes left, so there's plenty of time. And the fact that it's going all the way back down here, even if it makes a new low and then comes up, that just adds to it. Because that's even more failure at the bottom now, trying to fade the bottom. From a risk perspective, if you're looking for... what in the world is happening to my tool? There we go. Oh, let's try that again. Upside targets in that case would be around 62-ish for the first objective. So 36.60 up to 62. But it's got to be on this candle. And looking at the NASDAQ, especially too, if they start closing down on that 5-minute bar, we're breaking below that pennant. Still not getting that pop yet. Now, 3660 from a short perspective, if sellers are looking to fade an area where they suspect that buyers are potentially trapped, that's an area where sellers will try to absorb into. So that's what I'm saying. If it's going to trigger long at 60, it should go up relatively quickly if it's going to work. Because if it's not many buyers are going to hang out to see it fail. They made it all the way up to the top of the candle, but they didn't trigger it. Very important key aspect of that. All right. Buyers trigger in at 60, finally. So again, inside scalp locations at 59, otherwise objectives are at 62. So if the S&P wants to ramp up aggressively from here, then you've got a possibility of a 2+ point target. If it doesn't want to ramp up and pull back on itself, then we're seeing the buyers potentially not hang on to it. It'd be better off just getting another entry at around 59 and exiting at 60 and calling it a day. So if the buyers are going to take it, they're going to do it quick. Nice big ramp up. Didn't quite make it to the objective, 62. See if they can muscle up another attempt. I'm not interested in scaling anymore. It's more so just seeing if they want to finish the job. Come on, buyers, push. Finish the job in the last couple seconds. Oh, came one tick away. All right, I'm going to take it off at a point. That was a wicked whip that just happened at the end there. So obviously time of day, we're coming into the final 10 minutes, and that's sort of what you have to deal with. You're playing with fire in that area. So I tried holding on to it to see if it would give it to me. Came one tick away from the target, backed off, quick snap back. I'm just going to take the scalp. That's what I was saying, quick scalp opportunities in here if it's not going to work. Otherwise, it's just not worth the risk. It might, I mean, at 350, you might see this thing just go haul into the upside. And then, hopefully you've got some runners. But can't bank on that every time, Now sellers pressuring it right back down again. This is a huge problem for longs that we're trying to get this move going because it triggered in the longs above that bar, right? The buyers got triggered in above that big bull engulfing candle. That's why I hate engulfing candles. If you're going to buy an engulfing, buy it where it engulfs. Right? That way, at least you've got a shot at a little bit of meat on the bone. Buying it at the engulfing entry way up here, they just got dumpstered. Look at him. I mean, it's just getting annihilated now. Keep an eye on this area, though, because remember, they were still trying to build that volume. What? That's not what I wanted. Still sitting at 60. Sellers may even try a re-entry short back in the 60s again, just with the assumption that any buyers who did take the engulfing entry might not want to hang out anymore if they're still long. I know I jumped ship pretty quick when it saw that whip, but end of the day can be weird. So look at the support coming in on the 5 NASDAQ too. Yikes. Big ramp to the upside here from the NASDAQ. And the S&P's following through too. Look at that bull bar. Holy crap. See, the important thing here for the buyers, or for the sellers rather, they needed to get underneath that bull engulfing candle. That's where all of the stops were. Right? Any longs that got long above at 62 and they started getting dumpstered on, their stops under the engulfing candle. And they never got triggered. And as soon as it starts coming back up, that's like putting a big old, you know, an air blower in the flames. Just you stoke the fire. Big push to the upside. All right, nice ramp higher. It's the first pullback that the longs have seen. The S&P ramping very nicely. Impressive. They didn't break that low. Man, if they would have broke that low, this chart would look totally different. Got the final few minutes here. And just as a side note, as we head into the end of the day, don't forget today is the last day for it too, which is why I bring it up. Normally I don't really push these that much, but today's the last day. It's the Thanksgiving pie. I love that name. The Thanksgiving pie sale in SSFTG. If you swing over there, valid from the end of the day. That's it. You can save 31.4% on everything we have to offer. So if you've been on the fence, now's the time. That's a really, really good deal, and I very rarely put things on discount. A little more so lately, just because obviously the world's falling apart. I got to help a little. But Bull's still seeing a nice ramp to the upside. Quick little snapback here. Now, some scalp buyers might be looking for a dip sub... Ooh, well, never mind. There it goes. That's gone. I was going to say sub 57.50s, but, I mean, that thing just lightning shot out of there. Now the bulls are ramping up very aggressively on the S&P, and this is the kind of move that's going to potentially get a lot of people interested. Notice there's a huge amount of volume here, but remember the context that we just talked about. The context was sellers were really trying to slam this down. They were trying to stuff it through the bottom and hit the stops, and they missed it. All of that effort, you want to know why there's so much volume? Because the sellers who tried getting the trap to work got dumpstered instead. Now the shorts are stuck. So the shorts are stuck in a heavy down move trying to get that leg going, while realistically, if they're short, we can we pretty easily figure out where they're short from. Just look at the average, right? I mean, if we go from the bottom, and we already know that there was a huge amount of volume at 62, but if we go from that low and then go forward, we can kind of see that a lot of their averages is at around 59 now. If we bring it back a little bit, that might still... no, it's still at 60. So if the shorts are in, their average is probably around 60 because that's where all the volume traded. That's where they're stuck from. So when the market starts re-entering into this area, expect some popping. We only have 4 minutes left, too. I'm going to look for that 60 area again. I'm not sure they're going to flush back that far, but if they will, I don't mind it. Might even consider 61 again, but 60, 59 if they go fast. That bull bar in the NASDAQ's no joke. Holy. All right, we got 3 minutes until the close. Well, 3 minutes until 4 when things get really fun. Looks like the Nasdaq's building a little bit of a shelf. And the S&P's trying to get something going too. It might be a little bit greedy trying to get 60, but I mean, realistically, if it's going to pull back, it should be able to dip pretty far. And if it's going to dip, it might do it pretty quick. So I'm going to get those orders ready. Remember, time of day. These last few minutes can be nuts. At 58, that's when the last bit of the end of day orders start coming in. So that's usually when things go a little bit crazier. Still have 2 minutes left for the candle completion, so still tons of time. All right, 58. How did the Nasdaq handle 58? Sometimes 58 on the Nasdaq can be nasty. Getting down to the 61s, a little bit further. Oh, came one tick from 60. Still have a minute and a half, so there's still enough time for a scalp to take place. All right, 60 hits, then to 61. But again, if it is going to dip a little bit lower, then expecting a bit of a flush down would make sense. All right, beautiful. Nice quick little pop back up for another scalp. I mean, it's so obvious that buyers are taking that dip, it's ridiculous. Sellers can try to make it look as strong as they want it to, but I mean, when you see the volume behind it and you got the context on lock, it's pretty obvious. Well, all right. Let's see how they close it. I mean, they got another 30 seconds. This candle's still mid. I mean, it's right at the 50. It could go down. That would change things a lot. But, oof. I mean, if they close weak bear or strong bull all the way back up to the top again, it's sayonara going into the end of the day. But that's going to do it for me. I'm not looking to take any more trades for the last 10 seconds here. Great trading day overall. Great volatility. And man, what a wild couple days we've had so far. So just stay safe out there. Things are going a little bit nuts. But that's going to do it. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the rest of the day. I hope you had a fantastic trading day. And we will see you all back tomorrow, all right? Have a good one. We'll talk to y'all later. Thanks.